In the headlines, fifth batch of 123 Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrive Abuja. Cameroonian troops neutralize 20 terrorists, seize 5 gun trucks in Borno. APC crisis deepens as Niger State Governor denies letter on acting capacity. And on the foreign scene, Russia launches fresh attacks on Ukraine's Dnipro, Luhansk and Ivano-Frankivsk. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ile. Thank you for joining. The details now. Fifth batch carrying 123 Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived early Friday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The Nigerians airlifted from Poland arrived on a plane owned by Air Peace, one of the airlines built to airlift Nigerians returning from Ukraine. According to the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, the evacuees got free SIM cards loaded with airtime to allow them reach their family members, as well as received $100 for transportation as other batches that arrived before them. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a statement said another batch is expected to arrive Nigeria from Hungary on Saturday. Chairman of Committee of Pro-Chancellors of State-Owned Universities in Nigeria, Yusuf Ali, says the way federal government is negotiating with Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, without involving COPSUN is not abnormal. Briefing journalists in Oshogbo on Thursday on activities lined up for COPSUN 6th Biennial Conference billed to hold in Oshogbo, Osun State, Ali appealed to ASU to end its ongoing strike. He insisted that no work, no pay law should be applied on workers that embarked on strike. He speaks to Hamid Oyegbade on the sidelines of the briefing.
The COPSUN, in which I am the chairman, has taken a position that it is not normal that a body like COPSUN with over 50 universities, the number of state universities is larger than the number of federal universities in Nigeria. But agreements will be reached between the federal government and the unions in the university system. COPSUN will not be a part of it, but people expect the COPSUN members to be bound. It's not an ideal thing to do. I can tell you that we are already engaging with the owners of the state universities to see that this issue is resolved at the highest level of government in Nigeria. And I think that is the point that we are trying to work on as a group. It's an abnormality which we think should be looked into.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed April 7th for hearing of the suit seeking the removal of Governor Bello Matawalle of Zamfara State by the People's Democratic Party over his defection. Justice Inyang Eko on Thursday fixed the suit following an application for joinder and the submissions of lawyers in the matter. The lawyers to the defendants, led by Mike Ozekome, also sought for an extension of time to file their responses to the matter. In the application, the PDP asked the court to declare the impeached Deputy Governor Mahdi Gusau as the duly elected governor of Zamfara State. PDP is also asking the court to sack about 37 members of the National Assembly and the State Assembly who defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress. Meanwhile, in the originating summons by its lawyer, Emmanuel Okala, PDP is seeking a declaration that sequel to the Supreme Court judgment of 2019 in APC and another Senator Kabiru Marafa and 179 others, only members of the PDP, including Matawalle, then were entitled to hold the office of the governor and the deputy governor or member of the Zamfara State House of Assembly. Now, the acting national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello Thursday denies receiving a letter for temporary transfer of power from the embattled governor of Yobe State, Maimala Buni. Bello speaks to journalists at the party's national secretariat after a closed-door session. He, however, declined to make a categorical statement with regards to rumored appointment of a new national secretary. Meanwhile, Independent National Electoral Commission has rejected a letter inviting it to an emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the APC. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman has an update.
Behind me is an array of cameras, of reporters waiting patiently for the acting national chairman of the ruling APC to come out from the closed-door sessions and, of course, brief the journalists on what has transpired today. As he consolidates on his grip of the party's soul, with a number of activities taking place, Nigerians are anxiously waiting to get every available next move by this political party, which is currently the ruling party of the nation, Nigeria.
I just read it in one of the major newspapers now that Governor Bunu actually transferred a letter to you when he was traveling.
I haven't seen it. You saw it on social media?
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet.
What about the appointment of new secretary? We learn that you have appointed new secretary among the caretaker committees.
It hasn't been discussed. It wasn't on the agenda for today's meeting.
Okay. Will you likely to do that?
Probably, but it hasn't been discussed yet.
We also learned that you have not sent letter for the National Convention to INEC.
It has been sent.
When, sir?
Convention is 26, right?
We have to.
No, the letter has been sent already.
Okay.
That was the acting national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abubakar Sani Bello, making certain clarifications with regards to issues that affect, the leadership crisis that has been rocking the party. He did say that there hasn't been much, to talk about, but then from his comments, it is clearly indicating that he has been consolidating, right from day one he takes charge of the party. He said, the convention timeline has also been sent to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Again, he wouldn't want to speak on some speculations on the social media with regards to appointment of a new national secretary. From the headquarters of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
And on security matters, terrorists in 5 gun trucks were intercepted by the Cameroonian troops at a border crossing into Nigeria, killing over 20 insurgents and recovered gun trucks. Reports say that the incident took place at Amchide village around Bama local government area of Borno State. The insurgents were intercepted by the Cameroonian troops under the multinational joint task force on Wednesday, while some of them fled with gunshot wounds. In another development, a reported clash between the Islamic State for West African province and a Boko Haram faction left 9 dead. According to reports, the incident, which occurred in Abadam local government area of Borno State, is coming barely 48 hours after a clash by the groups left 30 dead in Dikwa town, about 100 kilometers from Maiduguri. The ISWAP faction is said to have ambushed their rival group, Boko Haram, at Yauma Wango village, where they engaged each other in a deadly shootout. Stakeholders in Borno State want the federal government to adopt policies that will facilitate complete surrender of insurgents in the northeast. They also recommend improved funding to meet up the expectations of both victims and repentant fighters. This, among other advices, were made at a policy dialogue titled Reconstruction and Reintegration as a Means to Enhancing Sustainable Peace and Security in Borno State, convened by the Peace Ambassadors Center for Humanitarian Aid and Empowerment. The report.
Beside the massive destructions and loss of lives, the havocs of insurgency has destabilized peace and sparked fears and tensions in the entire northeast. The 13 years conflict has seen continuous security operations that had resulted to surrender of some terrorists in Borno State. This ongoing development has already prompted the call for rehabilitation and integration of these fighters to the society. The gathering of stakeholders is to come up with homegrown policies and practice change that will complement and support the efforts of the government in ensuring effective, efficient and sustainable reconstruction and reintegration process in Borno State.
The theatre on its part will continue to ensure that a stable environment is put in place so that what the special advisor to the governor said, the state will have a sustainable peace where each and everybody can move about his lawful activities.
When people say they will integrate ex-combatant to this community, they feel somehow. But when you go to the same corridor, you will see how those people have been radicalized. There is a process. So we are witnesses. So this thing should be advocated out.
We need modern policy formulation techniques where we see our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, our threats in SWOT analysis, and to carry along the traditional institution, because it has to be a bottom-up approach.
After a concluded dialogue and paper presentations, the Peace Ambassador Center for Humanitarian Aid and Empowerment in its communique wants a community sensitization and acceptance of defectors as well as improved resources that will satisfy insurgent victims and defectors.
We want the government to employ the best practices that is happening in other countries. The best practices is you don't only empower the perpetrator and they leave the victim. The international standard is 1 to 3. When you empower one repentant, you empower 3 members of the community, or you now rebuild community so that it will serve as a healing process.
It is hoped that if the resolutions are implemented, it will curb risks and vulnerability and most especially build resilience and sustain peace in the Northeast.
You're watching Trust News Update, coming up after the break. Delta Community Oil Company lock horn. Details and more shortly. This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. Thanks for staying. Now let's have another look at the top stories again. Fifth batch of the carrying 123 Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived early Friday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. 20 insurgents have been killed and 5 gun trucks were intercepted by the Cameroonian troops at a border crossing into Nigeria. Now, in other news, the human eye is a delicate and special organ of the human body, but requires proper care. To this, you are advised to have regular screening to prevent avoidable blinding eye conditions. As the world commemorates Glaucoma Week, State House Hospital specialists give back to society by conducting free eye screening and creating awareness about glaucoma diseases. Zainab Bala reports.
Upon arrival at the hospital reception, you see a visual on the TV screen telling you what glaucoma is.
From your eye to your brain. Glaucoma typically happens when the fluid in your eye does not drain as it should.
The theme for World Glaucoma Week 2022 is "The world is bright, save your sight," echoing the need to raise awareness on why we need to care for the eyes to prevent vision impairment and irreversible blindness caused by glaucoma and other blinding eye conditions. This year, several ophthalmologists in hospitals within the capital city are conducting free eye screening. We visited the State House Hospital, where we saw a number of people take advantage of the gesture to have their eyes checked.
Glaucoma is a group of eye diseases that cause blindness, and the blindness is irreversible. Now, the cause of glaucoma, as it were, is largely unknown. However, there are risk factors, and one of them, a very crucial one, is raised intraocular pressures. That's the raised pressures inside the eye. But also there are people who don't have high pressures, and they also are going blind from glaucoma. I want to say an important thing about glaucoma is that it occurs in both eyes, and it progresses and causes irreversible blindness. If somebody is blind from glaucoma, there isn't anything you can do about it, unlike some other eye diseases like cataract, in which the person is blind, but after surgery the person sees again. One of the things we notice about such patients are that they don't see colors very well. The colors appear faded. Things are blurred, faded colors. They don't see red as red. It's like faded red. So we are saying that we want to let people know, create awareness about glaucoma, that you don't need to find yourself in that stage. The world is bright. Save your sight. Go get your eyes screened for glaucoma. And if by chance you're screened and it's found that you have glaucoma, it's not the end of the world. Wherever, whatever stage the person is, the person can be managed and the rate of blindness can be reduced drastically. And so the message we are sending out about saving your sight because the world is bright is because we want to get people tested and detected early.
A lot of the patients here have been diagnosed with other eye conditions, but glaucoma cases are minimal. Like this man here, who is over 40 and cannot see the letters displayed on the screen from a distance. She, on the other hand, has no problems at all.
I am here because of a very good reason, actually. Well, the list I know about health, it doesn't just break down. It starts and starts and starts, and when we don't pay attention, it breaks down. So I'm here to just check to be sure that I'm fine. Prevention is better than care, you know. And two, if there is any underlying disease already, so I can just go and have it checked out and treated before it breaks down.
As a human being without eye, there is nothing you can do. Yes, eye is one of the important organs of human life. Yes.
I'm a chef, you know, always with a flame, so I need to check my eyes regularly so that I will be fit. And my eyesight is so important to me. The reason I take advantage of this free eye screening is that some hospital, you need to pay when you go there. It's not going to be free. So when we see any opportunity like this, we take the advantage so that we'll not be able to spend much.
Eye care providers have advised Nigerians to have regular eye checks to detect early eye conditions to prevent total blindness. Ophthalmologists here are excited to celebrate this week.
The world is bright. Save your sight.
Zainab Bala, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, oil spill in 9 agrarian communities in Delta State from wellheads being operated by an indigenous oil firm is agitating minds of residents of the areas. Now, the spill occurred last week, Thursday, and has reportedly led to the outbreak of waterborne skin diseases in the various communities. Amokbokpo Elume, which is one of the affected communities where villagers say that the spill has grounded economic activities in the area since the river remains the only source of livelihood. The report.
Christopher Obule, chairman of Amuokpopo Eleme community in Sapele local government area of Delta State, who led the protesters, said crude oil and natural gas have been pumping into the river of the affected communities and nearby fishing settlements for over a week. Yet, the company has abandoned their corporate responsibilities in disaster management. While lamenting the havoc caused to various communities, Obule said some of their children who were ignorant of the spill, drank the polluted water, had to be rushed to the hospital, while others developed skin diseases.
All this small net where we take they do fishing, if you go put the net, the good oil, nothing they happen. So everybody where they here now hungry now, everybody caught day. Some of our children self, the water still. If you come here now, if government send people come out, they will see what they happen for. It may not be say would they lie against any company where be say they around us here. We not they lie against any company.
Also speaking, councillor representing Ward 18 in the council, Sam Azu, called on government at all levels as well as other well-meaning individuals and organizations to prevail on the oil company to stop the spill, lamenting that it has grounded economic activities in the areas for over a week.
This wellhead is Amokpo River, and the Amokpo are the people that are passing through the pains of everything that comes out of the wellhead. I am using this medium to appeal to the state governor to please prevail on Konoye, as this river is the only source of our livelihood here and other farming activities.
While displaying their fishing nets, cages, hooks among others soaked in crude oil with rotten fishes killed by the spill, the people said if no urgent attention is taken by the company to ameliorate their plight, there is possibility of the entire community being wiped out by the waterborne and skin diseases. The affected communities include Amuokpokpo Elume, Oloho, Elume Main Town, Opelagbra, Ekoko, Orogo, Ijekporo, Mereje, Iriama, all both in Sapele and Okpe local government areas of the state.
Katsina State Government has reiterated its commitment to providing effective health care and education. Consequently, the state government says its doors are open for investors to establish private healthcare institutions. Secretary to the state government, Dr. Mustafa Inuwa, called on new nursing students of Cherish Nursing and Midwifery Katsina to read hard and contribute to the society. Jamil Mabai has more.
Katsina State Government has emphasized the importance and role nurses play in the society.
The Provost.
The Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Mustafa Inuwa, said Katsina State Government don't compromise when it comes to issues of health and education.
I hope you understand the critical position your profession is in the society. You are going to deal with the issues that concern life of the people you will come across with in your various places of work. That is why as government we don't compromise when it comes to issue of health, when it comes to issue of education.
For the good governance of the college.
He made these comments during the matriculation ceremony for Cherish School of Nursing and Midwifery Katsina. He prayed for the late founder, Abba Sayyidi Ruma, whom to him was a friend, a colleague under the late former president, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. He described the late Ruma as a person of commitment, determination, and full of life.
I met Abba as a student in Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, when I joined there as a lecturer. We also served together under the late Yar'Adua's government, and I know his commitment. I know his zeal, I know his determination. Abba was full of life to bring development to his immediate and larger communities.
The school provost, Abubakar Halliru Kankia, said a total of 286 students were matriculated. He called on the students to abide by the laws of the school. Highlights of the occasion were presentation of awards to deserving students and posthumous award to the family of late Abba Ruma. Some of the students said they are determined and can't wait to excel in their chosen fields.
I want to become a God-fearing nurse, holistic nurse,
that's able to give care to community as a whole.
Jamila Mobile, Trust TV News, Katsina.
Now on the foreign scene, Russia has launched fresh attacks on civilian targets in the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro on Friday, killing one person. Reports say that military airfields in Lusk and Ivano-Frankivsk were taken out by Russian troops. This comes as the US, G7 and the EU prepare to revoke Russia's most favored nation status over its invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Thursday that around 100,000 people had evacuated the country's cities in 2 days, but accused Russian forces of targeting a humanitarian corridor in the besieged port city of Mariupol. Describing the attack as outright terror, the UN Security Council is set to hold an urgent meeting Friday at the request of Russia over the alleged development of biological weapons in Ukraine. Both Washington and Kyiv have denied the existence of laboratories intended to produce biological weapons in Ukraine, saying the allegations are a sign that Moscow could soon use the weapons itself. With that, we have come to the end of Trust News Update. Connect with us via our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch us live. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching. Bye.